Hey, Horizons here. Let's figure out how to preserve the money we earn without wasting it away with inflation. When a dollar or other currencies lose its purchasing power, we call it an inflation. $100 saved 20 years ago can buy you 40% fewer goods now. Instead of having 10 apples 20 years ago, you saved money and now you can buy only 6 apples. The most popular way of measuring inflation in the US is the Consumer Price Index, which is roughly 8% this month. It measures the overall change in consumer prices of a representative basket of goods and services over time. Some things go in price more while others less. The CPI will measure them all to give you an average number. We can already see that inflation will affect people differently based on their spending patterns. For example, in the last year, the biggest mover was transportation that changed by 60%. If you work remotely and don't commute and travel much, it won't have big impact on you. Another item of high inflation is housing, so if you rent, you will feel its impact more. But some random items didn't go in price much. For example, bananas and shoes. So the first and most obvious thing we can do is to be aware of prices of different things and try to avoid spending money on things that go in price faster than other items. Accepting that cash loses its value brings us a simple mental model that we should save a reasonable amount of money while taking the surplus and putting it into assets that will at least preserve our income. The amount of savings would be different from person to person. For example, I'm trying to save for 1 year of minimalistic living in case I lose my job, together with an emergency fund in case of health problems. Disclaimer, it's not a financial advice, but purely my first principles on the subject. The easiest and the most obvious way to invest is to buy stocks. Since we are not professional investors, the easiest approach would be to do dollar cost average in index funds. Basically putting the same amount of money every month into pre-selected baskets of stocks like S&P 500. Some years stock market will go up while others down. It might be risky in the short term, but if you're playing a long game, there's less chance of losing. An investment made in S&P 500 in 1900 would beat inflation by 6.5%. But an investment made in the growth period then turned into cash in the recession obviously would be a loss. Another obvious choice to protect against inflation is real estate. In developed Western countries, it's easy because you can get a 30 years mortgage with a low fixed rate that is actually less than inflation. Developing countries would have a high interest rate on mortgage and residents would have less purchasing power. So if you have cash, you can have an advantage there. While real estate grows in price anyway, you can earn extra from tenants or by renting to businesses in case of commercial real estate. Once we realize that it's possible to beat inflation with either real estate, stocks or other financial instruments, we should focus on the most important one, investing in ourselves and our ability to make more money. It could be learning programming to become a software engineer, working less at a day job to put more effort into a business, or moving to a place where you could have more opportunities. That's all. Stay productive.